there was a question that I had though in this do you consider this there to be a differentiation between this and just channeling in and of itself?
That's a very good question. And the best way I could answer that is I have actually channeled and worked. That's how I, through this process, I discovered a passion for painting using largely acrylic paint. And I do it through this form of listening. But certain, shall we say, beings are present, and I'm very much working with it, them, him, her. Sometimes I don't fully understand what is happening, but at times they are revealed, and it is very much one person, or entity or being or essence, love, mothering.
Mhm.
It's not 100% clear all the time, but with dream tending, it's a little bit different in the sense that it's not typically one person or being or entity with which you're interacting. You're tapping into the fact that, like Native Americans believe, and a lot of other indigenous cultures, that everything is animated, everything is alive.
Yeah.
Even this toilet paper roll, because I'm a little sick, I've been a little sniffly, it's alive.
I love that. Here's my
It's
tissue.
vibrating. Yes. And on a, that can sound kind of esoteric, and maybe too much for some people to understand. You can also look at it at the simple understanding of everything is vibrating with a certain frequency, a certain energy. Everything is a waveform that is actually now very basic science, maybe not in the 1960s or early 1900s, but right now, circa 2022, that's pretty basic science. And as such, even an inanimate object has some type of energy imprint, right? And has a certain aliveness about it. When you start to enter though completely into the imaginal realm, what you start to witness and understand, and this is probably the most profound aspect of it, is that everything actually is ensouled. That everything has a soul and is
Mm.
alive. And the work that dream tending does, and that Jung certainly explored through the Red Book, which, he never told anyone he was doing. That came out after he died because it was too radical for his time. But you start to go into these landscapes and you start to watch things animate. And then the step beyond that is that they're not even animated and kind of bouncing around your mind's eye when you're doing this work, but they're illumined from the inside out.
Mm.
So they
Yeah.
are fully fleshed out and
Yeah.
formed. And that when you dream, in fact, everything coming forward, down to the color, to the emotion, to the texture, the smells, because when you start to dream tend, they're fully alive, these landscapes. Every infinitesimal aspect of the landscape, of the beings, of whatever is present, no matter how bizarre they might be, or even nightmarish, they are fully alive, and they have the spark of infinity within each of them. And guess what? It was all curated, this, however completely strange it is, for you. And here's the even more magical part, and I have all these tingles going all over my body, is
No,
that
I
it
love that
wasn't
you're
just,
saying the word magic because that's exactly what it is. I feel there's so
yeah,
many different forms of ways of using
yeah,
magic. This is a beautiful one. Yeah.
yeah. And it's not just curated for you, you could say by psyche, and some people could swap that and say by God, or by the infinite mind, or the infinite consciousness, or, collective consciousness, but it's actually curated by you,
You.
because it's coming through you. And this is where it can go back to channeling, because it's like you're a vessel through whom these things can flow. And that is in part why it is really important to create safe space or temenos, because not to say that there are these insidious forces that want to come around, but we're tapping into something so infinite and so much for us to handle. And there's a lot coming through. So we want to make sure that we are mindful and we're setting an intention of doing this with care for what we can handle, and and for what the body it can, whatever its capacity is, and letting ourselves know that it's okay to tap out.